Okay. Just trying to get my settings right. Hello, my name is Eric Wilkerson. I am mentor here at CG Spectrum, and welcome to the illustration block. Spectrum's CG Spectrum's illustration block, where I will be doing working on some portraiture. And me squinting at my screen, it's because I have the chat window up on the second monitor, and I probably need glasses, so see a lot of that. So this week I'm going to have my sick beats going, and if you can't hear me, just let me know. But I don't think there's anything that I'm going to say that you haven't heard before if you're a frequent visitor. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today, you can see my screen, is finish working on a piece that I had started a week ago, oh no, a couple weeks ago, and just keep on moving from there. So let's move this over here. See the chat window. Going okay today? And if anyone has any art related questions, please feel free. Ask, comment, or ask, or whatever. RK Creations, hi, how are you? Right. But otherwise, if nobody has any questions, I'm just gonna dive back into drawing this piece. So I'll turn on the see the lights. This piece. Oh, hey Jessica, my computer's good. I just needed to restart it. Sure what the deal was, but doing all right now. So, got my brushes right, got my settings. Really on the. There we go. See. My settings. Not that this. Everybody uses Photoshop a little differently. Just how I do it. Please let me know if my sick beats are a little too loud and too sick for you. And I will decide whether or not I'm going to turn it down, because I really just sit here for 2 hours just waiting for the bass to drop. Anyway, so I'm going to finish drawing this guy's face. Start off like this. So last week I was working on a woman's face, and I'm going to get back to that in a second. I just want to, I don't know, should I do this one first or finish the other one? There's the choice. This one or that one? I don't know. I feel like I want to finish this one first because it was like almost done. Drawing stage of it was almost done. The sick beats are perfect. That's what it's all. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna get the line. I'm gonna get the line work just right. And this one I was only going to go as far as just doing a render. Nothing full color. It's funny because once you get into a groove, you know, I think these beats are a little too sick for y'all. And I'm gonna switch to something a little bit more mellow. Tranquil. Lord knows I don't want anybody to do hyper watching my channel stream here. Okay. So, you were with me last week. We were just talking about alignments, drawing the human form, drawing the human face, shapes, and just measuring, trying to get as close to a likeness as we possibly could. I left it shadow. I like the texture of her hair. So some people can come into this and say, well, I'm going to draw every single strand or every single braid, and that's ridiculous. So what I would do in this situation is just like if I were using regular pencil, thought process while I'm building this up, because the whole idea is for this to not feel digital. So if I were just to go in strictly with value, I would just shade this entire back of her head and then pull out the highlights, or lift out the highlights, or erase out the highlights for the hair. Part of me feels like I should probably start off by blocking in some of this. I mean, in this, what I do with the hair is really arbitrary. The likeness is more or less there, so I'm not worried about minor details like whether or not her hair is accurate, as long as it kind of flows properly. And I'm not getting into I'm not going to get into the flowers. That's a whole other level of insanity. Part of it is fun. Just sit and draw a measurement. I was never really sure about how far down the body I was going to go. I mean, it's not a full body portrait, just a full body reference, just the others. So lock in shadow. When I'm doing shadows on a drawing, kind of just, I look at the shadows as graphic shapes. Like, here's the shape of shadow and transition makes from left side of her neck as it rotates away from the orange. Here's the shape of. So the fun part, nice how you did. Thanks. Salto? Senior Salto? See me squinting at my, leaning in and squinting at my monitor. It's because I can't see the chats. This, and then this shape can become anything I want. This shape is going to become my shadow. I'm going to just go in carefully, render that out, build it up with cross-hatched lines and stuff. Some of these alignment marks. So let's just say, for example, that this were going to be a full illustration. Okay, I'm going to be doing a portrait illustration of this character, or of this, from this reference. It's reference that you purchased, a reference that or you shot of yourself. Let's say if this was a self-portrait or something like that, and you want to turn this into something narrative. But you're not doing a full, just keeping this to something head and shoulder. Head and upper torso. The next thing I would think about is, who is this person? What do they do? What is their job? What genre illustration am I trying to push here? Is this a contemporary scene of a portrait of a woman in line getting groceries? Is it a portrait of a ambassador on a space station with a bunch of diplomats and stuff like that of different alien races, like all standing around her? Which could be pretty cool. Is she a mechanic? Does she have like schmutz and stuff like that on her cheek? There's a bunch of different things you can do. It would have to be something where the expression on her face was static. Nothing too emotional, nothing too expressive. It's that. It's this. This is what you have. This is what you are using. So anything that you put on top of this or around this head is going to help with the narrative I'm trying to tell. So, I mean, a quick, easy way, the easy thing to do would just be to go, oh, well, she's an astronaut, and then put her in some kind of spacesuit. Poof out this stuff. Design what the suit looks like. That fun stuff. Do we say that she's got the helmet on, or has she taken it off? Or is it one of those fancy concept design type helmets that kind of retracts, folds back on itself? Pocket thing back here. Or maybe it opens up like Pac-Man. Shaped like... Well, that's pretty. So I do a lot of this stuff. I will sit and just do sketches like this that I never show anybody. Just kind of exploratory stuff for potential paintings. Never do. I'm sure somebody out there has stuff in their sketchbook that they think they're going to get back to, and this is probably anyway what we're so just thinking about a way to handle stacking this let's begin with a crosshatched. Try to keep that traditional drawing feel to it. So I think this is how I'll handle it. I mean, I could come in with a big, large brush and a low opacity to use value. It would lose certain quality. It would just scream digital. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just not what I prefer. Especially when drawing. I could technically print this out on a piece of toned paper. Put a couple pencil line embellishments on it and sell it as an original drawing for like hundreds of dollars. Not that I would ever do anything that shady, but might think about it. World I can never do. Go air. So this is all about building up value with line, creating my shapes, all of that with different types of line. Just really fun to just sit and just scribble this together. Now I don't have the information for what the top of her head looks like because of the flowers there. I can pretty much extrapolate at this point based on what I'm seeing. Her hair is going. Those braids continue to lap her skull. Just for my own, I'll probably poof it up a little bit. Rizwa Animation, hello. Right, welcome. So, and if anybody is anybody that's watching this, all 6,000 of you that are watching this, if anybody is a CGS Spectrum student, please let me know and who you're studying, who you are currently studying with. Really like to know. Do have a lot of YouTube lurkers. That's fine too. Start of this is pretty much what I would be doing pencil point again, but I also would end up taking the time to render out technique: stump, pool, blend. When I was using charcoal pencil and different pencils to do portraiture or to render or to draw in drawing class, if I didn't have a stump tool, sometimes I would just use like a piece of toilet paper and just wrap it around my finger and just use that blend if I didn't want to get my finger dirty and covered in pencil. Strip blinder. Show lighting setup on that pic. I don't understand what you're asking. So many areas likeness go. And I know that this isn't perfect. I'm trying to get it as good as I can get. There's always going to be areas where, especially in the cheek, the mouth, the jawline, subtly off from whatever I'm trying to go. So fun. So fun. Did you take the photo, and if so, did you use 2 lights or 3 lights? No, I did not take this photo reference. This photo reference is supplied by an illustrator named Howard Lyon. Howard does work for Magic the Gathering, if you're familiar with that. JD Smith, digital artist. This, from what I'm seeing, is a 2 light scheme. There's a main light and there is a rim light. So he's got a cool neutral main light on her skin, so you can get it. So you're getting soft. So it's a main light that's probably either in a soft box or a umbrella. So it's a strobe kit. Not something that this wasn't lit with something you would pick up from like Home Depot or something like that. It's a professional photography studio kit, strobe lights, and so he's got a warm light on one of those lights off to this woman's left hand side, and so every time, there's probably like something like 800 photographs, 850 something photographs in this set that I chose this picture from. And so every single time she moves, just pops off a different shot. Every time this woman probably heard the strobes pop off, she just moved subtly. Like as if being turned on a wheel, and just doing different things with her facial expression, her body, her arms, her legs. And this was just one of the shots that I. So, it's always good to have really good reference to use especially if you're trying to do anything realistic. Trying to just guess, figure it out, is shooting yourself in the foot. Why would you just make it up if you find out exactly what somebody's face or head or body or anything looks like? Albuterol, thank you. Yeah, the warm cool lighting scheme is something you'll see a lot in portraiture, to varying levels of chromatic intensity. Somebody might do some cool interior lighting with, or warm interior lighting with a cool sunlight coming through a window, rim lighting their face, something like that. I mean, you'll see that in portraiture, classical portraiture. Stuff like that. I mean, this is still applies to people that do digital work as well, because it's just about an understanding, having a understanding of light, color. Like this, I'm just using a regular round brush, nothing fancy, because a round brush this size gives me the feel of like very, very sharp HB pencil lead. Always love it. So if this were a portrait sketch, portrait drawing in one of my life drawing classes from college, I would be officially 3 hours into this piece. So not too much time is really passed. I think of how I want to sideburn stuff here. Oh yeah, thank you, uh, JD Smith. Um, a lot of the textural stuff is just me taking a round brush and just scribbling in a circle, in a circular pattern. Very simple, but it's effective. If I wanted to come into this woman's face, it started off, I'm in a very chaotic way. Scribble shapes in there. Anything I don't like, I can just use the eraser at a low opacity, below 50%, and kind of treat it like a real, like I'm using an eraser on chalk pencil or something like white colored pencil or something. Lift it up. Get the effect that I want. But I'm thinking, since I love the sci-fi, that I might end up going with the whole spacesuit feel to this. Can't hurt. That's the challenge of drawing something that drawing the spacesuit is doing something that doesn't exist. On starters. Trying to make it look believable. I tell students to grab reference. And I've got some reference that I can call up. Spacesuits. I feel like every time I draw a spacesuit, it ends up being some variation off of Buzz Lightyear. Probably unconscious love of Toy Story. Pushing through into everything I might try to do a spacesuit. I psychoanalyze my even getting something as wrong, even getting something like the cheek, the highlight on the cheek in the wrong space, in the wrong spot, can affect likeness. Have you ever seen like fan art or somebody's portrait of a celebrity, and you know who it is, but there's always something. There's always something about that face that's off. You can't put your finger on it. And it's almost always more difficult to do the likeness, a realistic likeness of a younger woman's face, because you're either going to over render and push the shadows too hard on the face, which ages the woman's face, or it's not enough. Then you lose the likeness. Then it'll just be a head. uh, finding that sweet spot is the challenge. Same thing goes for men, but there's harder lines that you can use, deeper shadows that you still not really lose, not lose the shadow, not lose the light. Happen very, very fast. Like, for example, like she's got this shadow around her nose here, right here, and trying not to push that any farther. Fine. I could probably even lighten up value for lip well, but that's just me nitpicking stuff. think that's... Oh. Some of the lines, some of the shading, something that I would probably very, very subtle, and something that I would probably be very light pencil, H, lead, something like that, and I don't know if anybody here has drawn anything traditionally, or if we've got anybody listening that draws traditionally. Let me know, like, what do you like to work with? Do you like to dive in with pencil, pen, or do you do stuff strictly digitally? And if so, do you do detailed line drawings, or do you just dive right in real concept art style and just blob it out in values and colors? You know, there's no one way to do this kind of work. No one way to draw anything. This is just really what works for me. So I think that letting a lot of the tone of the paper do a lot of the work, a lot of the mid-tone work. Because without it, like if it was just a white background or white surface, I wouldn't be able to pull out those white highlights. So I'm letting the paper do a lot of that work for me, so I can just quickly just drop in these tones. And if I wanted to come over top of this now and begin this as a full color piece, very simple to do because my values are... See if this works, or if I'm just making stuff up. Start with that. Come in off of that. Select that orange. Probably. There you go. Hard light. Take that hard light, flip it, So this is one of those play with the blend modes until you figure it out kind of situations. That's not going to work. I can live with overlay. And then just pop that. And that's, I have a few friends that do like comic book artists that approach this like drawing the figure, painting the figure, or something in this fashion. And this is just one approach. I could come in, saturate that color value, put on her face. Warms and the cools of that. Transitions, skin. Stuff like that. But I never do it like this though. This is just one approach. Adding color to this. My approach would be to then take this and just direct paint right on top of it. So by that might be trying to figure out how to paint over their gray tone drawing, their own render. You can build it up with overlays and different blend modes to get this kind of uniform quality, but colors on a face aren't uniform. Like, you just can't drop one tint over something. Let's call it a day. There's a lot of, especially in a darker skinned person, there's cools, there's warms, there's like warmer tones in the cheeks, like her cheeks are red. She's got grays in her forehead, grays around the eyes, around her mouth, warmer tones around cheek, around her mouth, cheek side of her mouth, blood in the ears, her ears are warm, outer parts have cooler highlights. So there's a lot of back and forth color variation, temperature variation going on the light side of her face that you're not going to get from just dumping a brown overlay layer over her skin. I mean, I've seen people do that and it just looks lazy. Just didn't have any real interest in painting the skin, you just wanted to get it done. And that's not how I teach it. That's not how I approach it. Try to make the students push themselves to work on their ability to render the form. So I think that's all. Scribbles. The shadow. And if anybody has any questions, No. Patrick, hello. You are late, Patrick. It's okay, I forgive you. I'm kind of upset that you have a life. Elected to my stream, but so I didn't post a new reference on the Slack channel because I wanted to come back in and retouch this piece. Not retouch, but finish it. Kind of explore where I want to take it after finishing the head. So thanks, Patrick. Thank you. So, right. So let me close out the reference and then get into where we could actually take it as a name. So I like the idea of there being some kind of dome thing around her, but like if this is going to be some kind of glass dome helmet thing, then that is kind of opening up. We have to figure out how it opens up and if this is going to be a seam line. This is just a embedded. This piece is static and into the actual helmet. Continue that. That's the challenge of doing 2D art. Having to, especially when you do concept design, illustrations, even at a sketch stage, gathering is knowing how to turn a form in your head. Like if we have this lip, this piece, this of a helmet, then this, you know, it's a three-dimensional form, so it's gonna roll around side. Now, I won't know the accuracy of this. I mean, it's probably in the ballpark. I probably wouldn't know the accuracy of that until either modeling or sculpting this or getting some clay out and working it out 3 dimensions and just rotate. I don't know how other people do it, but that's what would work. I would have to get I would probably sculpt this piece of space helmet, actual clay, and it's a piece of plastic, sheet of translucent plastic, and I would just stick it into the clay and just warp it around, cut this shape out, just wedge it into the clay. So then the plastic would act like glass, so it would have like reflection, not reflect. Yeah, it would reflect the light and the strips of stuff like light on the tip of the glass or the plastic. There would be that. And then we'd have to think about distortion. It's going to warp, so the collar of this spacesuit or this metal ring would be slightly warped, distorted in the actual glass. So it might would continue up in that. Subtle little things. It's those subtle little things. So narrative things that we can put onto the body, just roughing this out. This is my typical workflow. But we could put a badge or something, the astronaut patch there. She could have name something there. Chipped paint and stuff. She went to Mars. Terraformed Mars, maybe. I mean, unless she's trying to commit suicide. And then maybe the backpack stuff. Put that in here. I mean, yeah, there could be something that just says Mars. Mars 4. Buttons, some vents, whatever. Some gauges on here, like O2, all that stuff. And then from there, you say, okay, astronaut, spacesuit, dome helmet that opens up, that separates from midline, but then this point. Ahaha! What happened to Mars 1 through 3? Same thing that happened to Babylon stations 1 through 4. That's a Babylon 5 reference, and you're like a fetus or something. Like 20 years old, don't know what Babylon 5 is. I can't help you. I don't talk to you right now. So, a little upset. So then we say the opposite end of this is going to have the same kind of shape. It's going to have to flow because these connection points need to match up. What I would probably do is something. Oof. What's this? And we can come in. Dang. So it almost looks like a clamshell kind of thing going on. Around. For this, gears or motors or sing or something there. It's fun. Got that popping. We can take this suit, highlight, layer, that. Then we can play with the environment. I feel like putting her in a barren, it's too easy to just go, oh, well, there's some mountains back here and there's a little rover. That's boring, right? But if we said, I don't know, giant alien mushrooms, because every alien planet needs giant alien mushrooms. It's such a cop-out thing, but it works. Okay. Spots on it. Ooh, let's make them bioluminescent. It's never been done. New ground here, man. Luminescent mushrooms. And then like some trees and stuff. Ship in the background or something. Whatever. I really have some fun with that. But it takes it out of its usual context of outer space or some barren landscape or something. Puts it into a more of a alien tropical bioluminescent jungle kind of thing, where I don't know, maybe she's testing out the air quality. Oh, this flip map, this. Whatever I do with the suit's got to match. Whatever I do with the face has got to match the suit. Scratch something. It's fun. Maybe it's underwater and she entered the air room. Don't know Baby Lion 5, but I know Baby Yoda. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. I stopped drawing. Gotta educate you guys. Babylon 5 is one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever made. Babylon, not Baby Lion. What in the world? Babylon 5. Look it up. Greatest shows ever. There's no summary. There's like that's it. That's it. It's the greatest show ever made. You'll be like, I don't believe that. Believe it. Believe it. Okay? It was running concurrently with Star Trek Deep Space Nine back in the 90s. And both like about exploits of the crew and the captain of the space station going on, having all kinds of wild adventures, space battles and alien parasites growing out of people's necks and sickness. Loved every second of it. Highly recommend you see it. 10 times better than the main. I said it. 10 times better. You'd be like, but they brought back Boba Fett. I don't care who they brought back. Said it here, folks. Babylon 5 better than Mandalorian. And quote me. Right? Here you go. Oh, I guess I should say The views of the mentor are not necessarily the views of CG Spectrum or their affiliate. There you go. Somebody's probably like spitting coffee out on their computer. He said what? About Mandalorian? I mean, this is if we wanted to go spacesuit option, right? You could totally go mundane with it. You know, put her in a regular shirt, put a grocery store in the background or shopping center or something. You know, she could be a guard. Could totally do that with it and just have her here. Staff, and she could, again, fully armored, but something, I don't know, maybe not armored, but maybe something like robes, maybe something tribal, right? So got some arm and all that stuff, and in the background you could have a whole temple, city scene, all kinds of stuff going on. Clouds sweeping in, maybe the setting sun goes along with the rim light. Clouds coming in like that. Other characters in the background. Everything that can focus on leading our eye back into her, even though she is the largest largest object centered in the composition. At this point, we could move around this and add stuff to enhance that narrative. Bunch of different things you can do with it based off of the reference that you have. But you know, it starts off by asking yourself, what are you trying to say with the piece? What genre is it? What do you want the character to look like? What do you want to have happen? What's going on? So if I were to do a different portrait where she had more of an expression on her face, and you could really get fancy with it, have explosions going on if she was angry or shocked or something, have all kinds of chaos going on around her, her face would be reacting to that. Then you have a real true narrative. It's okay, Patrick. I mean, you're probably like, what, 18 years old? You missed the show by like a lot of years. So I forgive you. Okay. Just missed out on the greatest show on television. Say, well, if it's so great, why isn't it in reruns? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Oh, that's right. So I wanted to, let me save out for the last couple minutes. Go back into other portrait that I find it. Aha. Oh yeah, you totally missed it. Like you were, oh man. Yeah, you were an infant when it was on its last season. So, but that's okay. So next week I think is our my last before the break, school's break. And I'm gonna go back to where was it? The Star Wars one that I had done. I really want to do this as a full finish. So I think I'm gonna dive back into this and continue working out like the design of the armor, not armor, but costuming details, the lighting, interior set design stuff, walls, pipes, the robots, that stuff. Get that out of that loose, scribbly composition stage, and then try to start working on a more refined drawing for this, or at least start gathering the reference. That should be tolerable to. I could never get down with Lord of the Rings. I never saw The Hobbit. I kind of bowed out after Turn of the King. It's 4 separate endings. Time you think that movie's over, half an hour left. Oh god, how much more is there? So what I'm doing here is pretty much just measuring and making sure that all of my alignments are correct. Fixing them if they're not. So this is all stuff that you can do in Paint and just tweak it in your final digital painting program you prefer. I kind of like just to sit and draw it. Patrick, what class are you in again? Are you in one of the advanced classes, or you're an intro student? So you did the intro, and now you're doing intro. Okay, right on. Um, got a new mentor doing an intro. I think it's an intro or advanced ZBrush course. So if anybody's watching this, and I am messing around with these little blue lines, these are guidelines and Photoshop, and I'm just using them to check the alignments, distance, eyes, the placement for the nose, the chin, the alignment from like the bridge of the nose to the edge of the chin, an alignment, stuff like that. Trying to make sure that I get all that stuff right. I get nitpicky about the little things like that. And I know you can't really do that with a real pencil, but you come close. Patrick, you're saying just need to pull it off and do a nice portfolio. Actually wanted to have at least one portfolio project finished here, but that's not working. I mean, take your time, man. Take your time. Don't rush it. Okay? It's best to get quality finishes for your portfolio rather than to try to rush through something within a certain deadline that you put on yourself. Because you can always rush things when you're more confident and comfortable, and when you're in a production pipeline. But just for yourself, just to get your portfolio ready, don't rush it. You want the work to be as strong as you can possibly make. Okay? think the worst thing in the world for Illustrator was to try to rush through samples that they want to show to a client. You're not putting your, that's not your A game. That's not best, fastest. Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. Twitch asked me to whether or not I wanted to permit the term lose. How is that a bad word? Okay. Ooh, the algorithm is sensitive. A lot of companies are allowing their employees to work remotely these days due to the pandemic. So that's a bonus in your favor, is that what if you find something that you like, find something that you really want to do, at least you know that you won't have to worry about relocating somewhere in a room, wherever you are in the world. Just stay safe until the vaccine becomes available. Next in line for it. But Patrick, I wish you the best, though. Whatever you end up applying for, just make sure it's something you really want to do. But I mean, even if it isn't, paying, you can do it, go ahead and do it. If it's not your dream job, just hold on to it until you hold on to whatever job you find until you do find your. That would be my suggestion. You don't want to be broke, but you don't want to be miserable. Like My Little Pony is looking for somebody to do concept designs for My Little Pony. Is that your dream job? I don't know. Maybe it is. You'd be like, oh my god, My Little Pony. If it's not, and you know you could do the work, go ahead and apply for it. You put some cute, cuddly ponies with wings in your portfolio. 3D model it. I think I'm missing conversations. Oh, Jessica's saying, honestly feel the same exact way. Every time I work on a piece, I always feel like my piece isn't done, so I want to work on it more. But just take your time, there's no rush. Saying there's 2 cool art jobs near around my place. Little Pony coming for you. So you talked to one of the ADs there, and he said definitely send something. He likes my work. Look, just keep in contact with that art director. Even if you don't have anything solid to show, just keep in touch with that person. Keep your name in their inbox. Friend request them or on whatever platform. You know, get to know that person if at all possible. Because if you just contact somebody once, you show them your stuff, and then they say, yeah, send me something, and then you never do until your portfolio is where it needs to be, by the time you get ready to send that email off, they'll have forgotten who you are. You'll just, like, they might know 10 Patricks, or have samples coming in from a bunch of different places, a bunch of different people. So stay in touch with that art director. You know, even if you only message them every 3 months, you know, that's better than just waiting until you have something to show. You don't want to show something that is not quality, but you at least want to maintain some kind of communication. That's all I'm saying. I learned that from experience. I met an art director that was working on a major film, and he liked my stuff, and he's like, yeah, just send me some stuff, send me some samples, and I never did. I got in my own head, and I thought, oh my god, this is the art director of this big budget movie, and he wants me to send him stuff, and I don't have anything that I think is good enough to show, and I just never bothered. So I mean, it all worked out. But don't get stuck in your head when it comes to the quality of your work. At some point, you have to pull the trigger and say, all right, this is as good as it's going to get, because it's probably not going to get any better for several months. You want to wait several months, or you want to pull the trigger? It's up to you. I'll check out your practice piece, Patrick. You're saying you posted your practice. Okay, good. I'll check that out. getting paid to paint, getting paid to draw for a living, that even if it's not what I want, but as a concept artist, I have to do a lot of stuff I probably don't enjoy all the time. Yeah, yeah, I foresee a lot of crates and laser guns and, you know, stuff. I mean, it's that's concept art too. Not everybody starts off doing characters and badass creatures and stuff. Uh, they start off with the mundane. You might think, oh man, boring, but that's the work. And you'll graduate bigger and bigger stuff. Um, but anyway, so that's where I'm going to leave it today. I want to thank those of you that showed up. Oh, it's gone down from 6,000 to 2,000. Wow, I lost 4,000 people watching this stream today. I even shaved my head and everything. That didn't matter? Okay, well, fine then. But yeah, so anytime, Patrick. Glad to help. Share anything I can. Look forward to seeing your piece on Slack, and I will talk to you all next week.